let's take a look at our top selections. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, a couple of grade stakes races on tap at Keeneland on Saturday. Let's take a look at the field for race number 8. It's the Grade 2 Hagyard Fayette Stakes. $200,000 is the purse. We're going a mile and an eighth in here, and talk about wide open, Mike. It's a big field. You've got Mr. Freeze the 6 at 3-1 coming off kind of a stinker of an effort, arguably against better horses at Churchill Downs. And you've got Tax, who we know on his best day can easily win a race like this, but we haven't seen him since the Oaklawn Handicap.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions, probably more questions than anything else in this race. I suppose if the 6 or the 8 show up and run their best race, one of them will probably win. But it just sort of feels like this is the kind of race to maybe, fool around a little bit against the favorites and take a shot.
Not only do they have class, but they also have speed, and that is at a premium in a race like this. You want to have speed. Mr. Freeze is the 6 as we look at the Timeform U.S. pace projector. He's expected to make the lead. Tax, the number 9, he's going to be close to the pace as well, and this could help them. I'm not sure about Mr. Freeze at a mile and an eighth. I kind of like him more as a one-turn miler type. Tax has no problem with the mile and an eighth, and he's run well fresh in the past.
Distance could be the question. It'll be interesting to see how the pace plays out there. I don't know how you felt about it. I sort of felt like this pace might be a little bit faster than Timeform US thinks it will be.
I tend to agree because I think the number 1 Coastal Defense might try to take the bull by the horns as he did last time out at Churchill Downs. His 3 route races since returning from the break for Dale Romans have all been good. And last time out, he did control the pace in a pretty short field, but Joe Talamo was just hands and heels on him in the stretch. I think this horse is getting better.
Yeah, I agree. Another nice step forward for this horse last time. He just feels like he's getting better with racing. Every time they send him out there, he improves a little bit. Obviously, they're probably not surprised by that. They paid a lot of money for him. He has a really nice pedigree. It just feels like he's coming around at the right time. He's got a great post in here with speed. He doesn't have to have the lead, but maybe he could make it. There are things to like about this horse.
The 2 and the 3 come out of the same race. Captivating Moon, Crafty Daddy. They were heads apart in the opening verse, an off-the-turf race at Churchill Downs last time out. Now, Captivating Moon was happy that the race, I think, came off the turf. He's done well on turf. He's also done some nice work on dirt. He just fell far behind in the early portion of that race. He came with a run and he just missed. Crafty Daddy, they were taking a shot on dirt. He was game to win, but he got the jump on Captivating Moon. I have a feeling, even though that 97 buyer looks really tantalizing on paper, that this is a different world from a class standpoint.
That's how I'm looking at it. I actually like both of these horses, but I like them both better on turf. We'll see how it all plays out. If nothing else, they certainly felt like they had the run of the race last time. It was a 4-horse field. They came from 3rd and 4th in a race where the pace was actually pretty fast, and then they came home in about 25 seconds, and these horses came up and took over in the final quarter mile.
Miranake, a multiple grade 1 winner on dirt in Argentina. I'm put in a tough spot, I would say. In his North American debut, they ran him in the Pacific Classic against Maximum Security, and he kind of didn't get out of first gear, but you can forgive him for that effort. And if you look at the form from South America, it's tough to analyze. Sometimes we see these Group 1 horses, they're not very good. Sometimes they are. It all depends on price for Miranake, who should be a good price in the Fayette.
He should be. He did win his last 4 dirt starts in Argentina. I don't know what that says. I have no idea what he was beating. Obviously, he wasn't going to win the Pacific Classic, but it would have been nice to see him, pick up his feet a little bit.
Title Ready came from way off the pace to win at Keeneland, and that's kind of been the story of his career. He really likes this surface. They ran him in the Ali Sheba last time out. He's not going to beat horses like By My Standards and Owendale, but he gave an even performance, and it makes me think that Dallas Stewart's got him going the right way in the 3rd start of the form cycle. The problem is pace. He needs help up front.
Yeah, he is going to need pace up front. He got that 2 back when he won at Keeneland back in July. They were going pretty good in front of him. And he came with a nice run to close that race. I actually felt that was a good effort. He didn't run poorly last time. He never really had a chance in there. They went 50 to the half, better horses in there. He wasn't going to make an impact in that scenario. I think he fits a lot better in this field, Dan. I think this distance is really good for him. And again, I feel like there could be more pace than Timeform US thinks there could be. There are things to like about this horse at a price.
Mr. Freeze was second in this race last year. He ran into Tom's d'Etat that day. There are no Tom's d'Etats in this year's edition of the Fayette. He looked good winning the Gulfstream Mile with a big number earlier this year. Third in the Oaklawn Handicap. He ran fine that day. The Met Mile, I think we were a little bit surprised that there just wasn't speed. I know he got bounced around a little bit coming out of the gate, but I thought he should have been a little bit closer considering the way that the race played out. Last time out in the Alashiba, I just don't have any excuses. Okay, by my standards, Noah and Dale are supposedly better than he is. Mr. Freeze can't go 25-3 for the first quarter and end up finishing last.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's hard to take him out of that last race. Class relief in here or not, it's just hard to take him out of that race. We'll see what happens. He's a really nice horse. He could certainly get the right trip in this race, and obviously his best race is going to make him tough. He's actually run pretty well, going 9 furlongs several times in the past, so the distance doesn't have to get him beat. But he's going to be the favorite in here off of that race last time. I don't know, man. I'm going to look elsewhere.
Rated R Superstar occasionally pops a big race. He is getting up there in years right now. This will be start number 44 for Rated R Superstar, who was second last time out, going way long, 1.5 miles at Churchill Downs. I guess they tried it. He's a one-run closer. I think he's a little bit class compromised in this spot.
Yeah, and he's going to really need that pace projector to be wrong because he is a dead one-run closer. He'll be last up the backstretch.
But he does like Keeneland. He won the Ben Ali over course and distance a few years ago. Tax we haven't seen since the Oaklawn Handicap when he was in against By My Standards. He drew a terrible post. He kind of mid-moved into the race. It didn't work out for him. I won't hold the Pegasus World Cup against him. He didn't have a great trip in that race. He was getting good towards the end of his 3-year-old campaign, Mike, and this is a horse that's always had a bit of potential. I think that if he gets the kind of trip sitting off Mr. Freeze, Tyler Gaffalione and Danny Gargan are going to be very happy turning into the stretch.
Yeah, and he does have that kind of tactical speed too, so he could really fall into a trip here. And you just sort of feel like we haven't seen the best of him yet, Dan. He was a good 3-year-old. I can't say, he was, one of my favorite 3-year-olds from last year, but he certainly held his own with some nice horses, and they just haven't really had a chance to get him started yet. If he takes a step forward in this race, he's supposed to be a handful.
Mo Mesa, the number 9, is a 3-year-old taking a step up against older horses off a good effort in the Oklahoma Derby last time out. Let's watch that race won by Shared Sense. And he ran okay. We see him in the white blinkers, sort of bluish yellow outfit, and he's going to run a decent second, 91 Beyer speed figure behind Shared Sense. He's going the right way for Michael Maker. He still has upside. His tactical speed, coupled with his post position, likely have him in a good spot off the 2 favorites, who are good and probably better than Mo Mesa is, but have question marks and don't have Mo Mesa's upside or his price potential.
Yeah, those things are all true. I don't love this horse in here, but everything you said about him is correct. We'll see if he can continue with development. He's certainly getting better with every race right now. It feels like he's going to have to improve again to beat this field. Maybe he can do it.
And Aurelius Maximus is just 2 for 2 since being taken over by Steve Asmussen. 99 Beyer speed figure. 2 starts back, way back in January, up close to a moderate pace, and then dominating them late. And then he shrugged off the layoff with no problems last time out, beating an okay horse in Bodie Express. This outside post position, Ricardo Santana Jr. might have to get a little bit creative. Maybe he just puts the pedal to the metal in here and tries to get forward.
Yeah, they should probably try and make the lead, or at least go forward from the outside and try to get close. We'll see if he can do it. There's a part of me, Dan, that really wants this horse to be good. I was a huge fan of his as a 2-year-old when Chad had him. I thought for sure he was going to turn out to be a good horse. It hasn't really happened, but his last 2 races are okay.
Wide open race, might want to take advantage of some prices and go against the favorites. We take a look at our top selection for the Fayette Stakes. You like Title Ready, hoping this time form US pace projector's wrong, hoping that this pace heats up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I saw more speed than Timeform US did in this race. We'll see how that plays out. Title Ready's going to need it. I don't know. I just like this horse, Dan. I think he fits really well in this race. The distance is a really good one for him. I think if he gets a trip, he can be a factor.
I think Coastal Defense can work out a trip breaking from the inside post. I think he's going to show speed, tuck in the second flight. With his pedigree, I think that a mile and an eighth isn't going to be an issue. He's 6-1 on the morning line. It'll be interesting to see where he goes off at post time. But as you see by our numbers, it's wide open, friends. 5-8-6-10 for Mike, 1-6-3-2 for me. The Grade 2 Hagyard Fayette, race 8 at Keeneland on Saturday. Approximate post 4:57 Eastern. Best of luck.